What's up, guys? So this is my second time ever going to Arizona Motorsports Park, and I had over an hour of footage to go through, so try to condense it into like a 15-minute video of some of my fastest laps. But the changes from last time to this time are obviously the Supercharger kit, and I went from a 300 tread wear to a 200 tread wear tire, and just kind of feeling the car out in the morning sessions when the track was still cool, and didn't have the best grip. You'll see in later laps, sort of towards the middle of the day, the track surfaces were probably in like the 75-degree range, and I was able to set some really quick laps. But started off in red group, and red group has some, I would say, beginner cars, and you have to point by the pass. So this lap here, you can see I ended up getting in the front of the pack, and was able to set fairly decent lap time. But over the course of that 20-minute session, it was a lot of trying to get up into the front, and usually I try to grid up like 15-20 minutes early to stay in the front of the pack so I don't have to pass so many cars. But I ended up later going into orange group, which is more of an advanced group, and you're free to pass without having people point by. But yeah, so this is one of my fastest warm-up laps in red group, and overall it was pretty clean, nothing too crazy. I probably had the highest boost levels earlier in the morning, but traction wasn't the greatest. So this lap time coming up here, this is the last straightaway, and you can see, yep, so 152, so pretty decent on that one. This is just a bunch of footage of passing a bunch of people in red group. Luckily they were pointing by, but a lot of the cars, you know, you'll go 1 or 2 laps and people won't point you by, so it's a little bit frustrating at times, but lots of pretty quick cars that pass. This was another fairly quick lap in the first session in the morning. Again, just trying to feel the car out, trying to push the limits of grip as much as I could. I was also trying to figure out what tire pressures I should run, because I was starting at like 25 psi and it was going up to, I think, like 34, 35. And I think at the end of this session actually it hit 38. So ended up dropping the tire pressure down a little bit in the next session, and that yielded the best results. But yeah, just getting some warm-up laps in. If you guys ever come out to the track, probably, especially in Arizona, you're going to have the best chance of setting your fastest laps in the morning session. So try to get those hot laps in the morning when everything's still cool, because in the afternoon you're dealing with a lot higher temps, track temps, and that can play a big role with tire efficiency. They'll go out of their heat range and get very greasy and overheat. Same with brakes and engine. So your engine will start to pull timing and stuff as it gets hotter and hotter. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to set a fast lap time.
Oh, no brakes, no brakes. Gotta let them cool down.
So this one was a 152.28, so that was pretty consistent with the last lap. Alright, so this footage here is actually orange group, so this is the free passing group. There's also a green group as well, it's even faster than this, but you get a pretty mixed bag of fast cars, experienced drivers and not so experienced drivers, and yeah, just a little montage of people going off the track and a little bit of passing and stuff, to the point where I can get some clean laps in. But this session was probably the sweet spot for my car temp-wise. as you can see here, these next 3 laps you're see unedited are probably some of my fastest laps, and the last one in this group, I ended up doing a 151, low 151, which is extremely fast for that track, especially not running a full slick tire. If I had a racing slick on here, I could probably break 150. You can see a couple spots there. I was fighting a little bit of oversteer, but yeah, car felt pretty stable. And I think this session too, I added a little bit more aero in the rear, just changed the angle of attack on the wing, dropped a little bit of tire pressure, and then I softened the dampers, I think like 3 or 4 clicks in the rear as well to try and get some more grip. My car is still very oversteer prone. I'm gonna try to figure out, because I do have stock AP1 sway bars, and my car is an 03, so it has the softest sway bars of pretty much any S2000 OEM sway bars. So I'm gonna try to experiment with a little bit heavier sway bar to try and force my car to understeer rather than oversteer and be a little bit more balanced. But I think an adjustable sway bar will help immensely. If that doesn't really work, I do notice that I have quite a bit of body roll as well. So I'm thinking maybe a heavier spring, and especially with the aero on my car, I might switch to heavier spring, and that'll help control the body roll and overall control. So 152.12, so you can see here I'm definitely getting faster from the first session. This corner here was very, very difficult for me. I would always oversteer in corner exit. This corner I try to carry a lot of speed through here. Kind of go middle of the track and then cut over. And then this turn's a little tricky too. So this one, overall, a fairly clean lap. I think this one is going to come out to my second fastest lap of the day. And then the one coming up here is actually going to be my fastest lap. Yeah, so 152.10. And that actually matches my previous lap, so I'm pretty consistent, I would say. And then this is my fastest lap of the day. I think this one's faster than the last one because I'm keeping it more tidy and trying to brake as deep as possible. This corner here, yeah, it doesn't look like I oversteered on this one, which I usually do. So if I can keep that slip down on a lap, I can put a pretty fast lap down. And luckily, this car didn't really interfere. This M2 here in front of me didn't interfere with my lap. He was taking a pretty good pace, but right here he might have slowed me down just a tad, but I might have been able to break 152 if I didn't have any traffic. I feel like here I was almost fat. Yeah, I ended up passing him here. Luckily I didn't lose any momentum because on this lap, definitely didn't want to hit any traffic when you're on course for your fastest lap of the day. overall, reviewing this footage for the first time, this looks like a very, very clean lap. Very little oversteer like I usually have. Trying to use the whole track. Keep my momentum up here. And there's the 150-110, so pretty fast lap. Alright, and then this was one of the last, or actually this is towards the middle of the day, and this whole session here was kind of ruined by this Porsche, so it wouldn't let me pass. I didn't have the power to pass him, and yeah, it kind of sucks. So when you point me by to pass, don't stay full throttle and not let me pass. It's like, you gotta slow down and let people pass you, because it can make a dangerous passing move as well. Here I'm with my buddy Vince, and he was supposed to be running a green group, but the times got mixed up, so he ended up running our group. But I would say our two cars are pretty on pace with each other. I feel like I might have been a little bit faster, but my car was down on power. I had some issues with the ECU and the coolant temp. It was lowering the rev limiter to almost like 6,000 RPM when I would hit like 212 degrees on coolant. So I need to mess around with my ECU safeties a little bit, because that's almost too aggressive. I could probably go up to like 220 before I really need to start kicking in the safeties for coolant temp. But I was trying to study his line too, because he has consistently done like 152s, and he's naturally aspirated, so no supercharger, turbo, anything. And he's got some really good grip in that car, and a really set up car, and good brakes on that thing, so he can brake super late. So just trying to study his line and see if I can improve any. But we actually had similar line. Oh, right here got very sketchy. The M2 spun out, kind of screwed everybody else up. Luckily there was no accident, but yeah. So yeah, pretty successful second track day with the car, especially being supercharged. Zero real mechanical issues stopping me from running each 20-minute session, which is awesome. Because when you go there, you want to be able to run every session and get your money's worth. So yeah, I'm going to be adding some hood vents probably to hopefully lower some coolant temps, and then changing those ECU settings like I was talking about, and adding some sway bars, because I do think I have some excessive body roll, and I think controlling the body will help me be more stable in the corners and such. But yeah, a little bit of improvements here and there, and I think this could be a track monster. And probably next time I come out, maybe in December, I'm gonna try to go for breaking like a 150, so stay tuned for that.